Welcome to Playing with Fire, the podcast that's lighting the way to financial independence and early retirement.
We're your hosts, Chris and Jenny Schultz, and we're here to take you on an exciting journey towards financial freedom, one step at a time.
In each episode, we'll share our own experiences, insights, and lessons from our path to a seven-figure net worth before hitting the big 4-0.
But that's not all. We'll also introduce you to some incredible guests who have achieved FIRE or are well on their way. They'll share their stories, strategies, and secrets to success.
Our mission is simple: to inspire you, educate you, and entertain you as we explore all things FIRE. We believe that financial independence is a journey anyone can embark on, and we are here to show you the way.
So whether you're new to the world of FIRE or a seasoned pro, this podcast is your go-to resource for achieving your financial goals and designing a life you love.
Are you ready to ignite your financial future? Then let's dive right in.
Welcome to Playing with Fire, where your journey to financial independence and early retirement begins now.
Leslie and Brady Huffers are doing things their way in the digital marketing world. They dipped their toes into a side gig and saw so much potential that they were both able to quit their 9-to-5 jobs. Now they're raising a family and helping other people switch gears to creating their own businesses from home, raising their own families. Welcome to the show, Leslie and Brady. Can you please share a little bit about your story and who you two are?
Well, thanks for having us on your show. It's such an honor to be asked to even be here and share our story. So our story is kind of unique in the sense of we didn't really plan to be where we are in life, but it's really kind of a crazy twist and turn that got us here. So I was a special ed teacher for 8.5 years. Brady did corporate sales, and we got married. And about 6 months into marriage, it was me that kind of felt this like ache to do something creative. I felt like I wanted to create some side income. Obviously, as a teacher, I wasn't bringing in like tons of income. So I kind of got my wheels spinning of, how could I bring in some more money? And in the back of my mind, I thought, I really want to stay home with kids one day, but I didn't know how I could swing that as a teacher and not bring the money, or I would be teaching, put all my money towards daycare. I was trying to figure all these things out. And so, like I said, about 6 months in, I said to him, I kind of just want to try something. I want to dip my toes into this freelancing world. So it was winter break and I was looking into what I could do to hopefully monetize something that I already was good at and enjoy doing. And for me, that was writing. So I started just kind of logging for companies, learning about how to do copywriting and doing website copy and newsletters and emails and all these things that I couldn't believe that I could get paid for because I was already doing them in my job. I enjoyed doing them. And businesses were like, oh my gosh, we don't want to do all this written content. Could you take it off our hands? So slowly but surely, a little business was born just with me. And I just kind of was chugging along at it. But what I was finding was that a lot of the businesses were really needing video content too, because as we know, video content is, performing really well. People like to see things visually. So that's kind of when Brady kind of came on board.
Yeah, I've done video my whole life. Never thought I would actually do it professionally. I was always told there's no money in the industry. Well, that's if you work for somebody else.
It was like the starving artist mentality of a videographer, you don't make money, whatever.
Yeah, it is hard also. I heard freelance finding work and everything, but I never considered they actually could work having a partner, and I'm not really good at writing, and she can also fill in the gaps there because you got to do a lot of script writing and copywriting before making a video. And
I'm such a people person. It's connecting with clients, meeting with clients, all of that. We are a good team in that sense because I like to do the connecting part and then, ultimately help land him these video jobs and different things with our clients and just even tweaking it. So it's not just videography, but marketing for videos. I feel like that changed the game too, because I don't know, you can charge a little bit more, and in businesses, it's more reliable because they're paying you month after month. And so anyway, we kind of started getting a little bit of traction, and this is back in 2019. Well, then 2020 hits, as we know, COVID, the pandemic, everything changed. And honestly, it was really actually good for the digital marketing world because every business realized we have to be online. We have to be active online. And so we were like, oh my gosh, our business is growing. We were still doing our full-time jobs at this time. I was teaching full-time, he was doing sales, but we were able to do our jobs from home because everybody was, the at-home order. And so we looked at each other, we're like, we love working from home together. This is so fun. Could we do this forever? And that really, I felt lit a fire under us to keep growing. We kind of had this conversation of a lot of people right now are just binging Netflix and just kind of killing time at home. We're like, what if we learn new skills? So we learned how to do digital ads. We learned how to do all these different things that we could offer more to our clients. And that really paid off to the point where at the end of 2021, we cranked the numbers and we were like, we can do this. We can leave our, salaries, our steady jobs. And I think we can do this full time. So we both put in. I put in for my leave, he put in for his. And so that was, December 2021. And then a week later, we found out we were pregnant right after we quit our jobs. It was just wild. But honestly, looking back, what a blessing and such good timing that we were both able to be home. And now, thinking back to my original dream of wanting to be a stay-at-home mom and be able to be home with our daughter, the fact that we both get to be home with our daughter is like beyond my wildest dream. So it's been great. Right now we have a 15-month-old and she's busy and we have our business from home, and it's such a blessing to us.
That is so cool how the pieces you guys were already putting them into place before you're like, bam, okay, now we get to actually live out this little dream that we had and be working from home with our baby by our side.
Yes, it's really, really neat. Yeah, we feel very fortunate that, but it really was just taking that first step. And, I'm sure we'll kind of get into it, but like there was a lot of foundational work to get us to that point.
Yeah. And like you said, you crunched the numbers, but what other personal or financial preparation did you guys do before you took that scary leap of leaving your 9 to 5 and then branching out on your own?
Oh, yeah. So, well, when we first got married, I was in an entrepreneur job. I did life insurance, 100% commission, had to buy my own marketing materials. And really, that was tough. That was a tough gig. I had to buy my own gas. Yes, you can write everything off for taxes, but buy my own gas, marketing materials, show up at people's doors. Didn't really make a ton of money profit-wise. And then I decided to hey, we're in tons of debt from credit card payments, student loan payments.
Well, and let me say this. He's saying here this is us when we first got married. I wouldn't say we were in tons of debt. I would say you kind of brought some.
Yeah, I brought some debt.
I was pretty financially
yeah.
So, I mean, I had bought a house prior to us meeting. I had bought a house. I had paid off my loans, not to toot my own horn, but I just think that kind of
she was the nerd.
Picture. Because the reason I even share that though right now is because when we got married, we, as part, like a lot of people for a wedding gift, they gave us money, right? And ironically, the amount of money almost to the exact dollar that we got from our wedding was what he owed on his credit card. And I remember knowing, okay, what's mine is yours. All of a sudden we're joining finances, right? We got married. And I had to kind of say to myself, would I love to buy placemats or whatever with this? Sure. Things for the house. But I knew that I needed, we needed to do this together. We needed to tackle this together. This money was ours. This debt was all of a sudden ours. And so I looked at him and I was just like, let's use the wedding money for it. Mm-hmm. And we both look back at that and we're like, that is the smartest thing ever. And do we miss the placemats? No. Now we don't even we
paid off the credit card with the wedding money. And then we're like, hey,
it kind of lit a fire.
Let's keep going. Paid off my car and then
paid off my car. Yeah.
And student loans.
Yeah.
And we paid off my student loans.
Physically felt different. We felt like a lightness to, so that just really, like I said, lit a fire. So at that point, our only debt was our mortgage. And we were just like, wow, this is so great. But we weren't even thinking about starting a business, but we can attribute the success of our business now to the fact that we paid off those debts then, because it's hard to start a business. First of all, I think you said the first 2 years, most businesses fail. I think a lot of that's financial. Mm-hmm. Had we not had that right footing and that right foundation of having a debt-free lifestyle and then building a business from that and keeping that in mind too. Now we have a debt-free business, we don't incur debt within our business. That's super important to us to not go backwards. So we're very aware of where we're spending. And so I don't know, I just think that foundation of, we went through the Dave Ramsey course, but we really attribute our success today. We're 5.5 years into marriage to the decision we made back when we were early married.
I need you guys to dig into the whole Dave Ramsey thing here, because I honestly don't know his principles. All I know is people either love him or hate him. Yeah. And there's lots of success stories from people that have followed him. So can you share some key pieces of what you learned from going through his teachings that really helped guide your life?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wait, are we going to give all his secrets away?
Yeah. I mean, gosh, they're all in the.
Are we getting any money from it?
Kickback from that.
He calls them the 7 baby steps. Yes. Putting money aside for their emergency funds, planning every dollar coming out of your bank account. So you're not shocked every month how much you're spending. Try that budget plan. Then the third is paying off the debt. And after that is getting 3 to 6 months saved. Mm-hmm. So having an emergency fund.
Like a bigger emergency fund. Yeah.
So this is just building up that comfort so you don't wake up in the middle of the night sweating like, gosh, I have no money in the bank account.
Yeah.
So he wants you to have an emergency fund. He says 3 to 6 months. Of course, you can have more in there, I believe. and then investing after that. So,
which, that's been fun. Like, so now we're kind of at that phase,
Right.
and then also paying off the mortgage.
Right.
And then is it living generously beyond that?
Oh yeah, living generously.
Yeah,
is
putting money towards
another
there's a
Dave
step if
Ramsey
you want to put money
principle.
towards your kids' college and all of that stuff too.
Yeah.
It basically, to sum it up, like he's just all about like eliminating debt, because he believes you're a slave to the lender. That's biblical, the idea that when you're in debt, and we felt this, I physically felt different when we, owed on our cars and different things. And as society, we normalize debt. I think we make it like, oh, like, of course you're going to have loan payments or whatever. But I was raised very much to be like, we don't incur debt. And I think interesting to bring in our kind of our backgrounds with how we were taught money growing up, and now kind of create our own legacy. And actually just this week, our daughter is only 15 months. We got her set up with her own bank account, and we're going to start investing for her. Like all these things that we're learning, we're like, gosh, compound interest is amazing. What if she starts at age 1? Think about how, what our future could look like. So all these principles and things that we've learned have allowed us to now really build generational wealth, is our hope for the next generation with our daughter.
Yeah, that's super helpful to have that glimpse into the Dave Ramsey world. So thanks for sharing that. That obviously was a huge foundation for you guys moving from where you were to now, and being able to leave the job world. And then your first branch out was into digital marketing. So can you give the listeners just an overview of what digital marketing is?
I think it's such a spectrum. It's one of those things that, when you say it, people are like, oh, you must do websites and photos and videos and social media and all these different things. So what we focus in on is we do a lot of content for companies. So like I said, my passion is writing. So I'll do a lot of written content. So if you go to someone's website and they have a blog, or they send you a newsletter, and you get an email from them periodically with sales or different things coming up. Or if you see someone has a YouTube channel, or a business has reels going out or whatever, we create all of that content for businesses. So it's a lot of just working together. A lot of written and visual comes together. Like with a social media caption, I can write the caption, he can create the visual for it. We do a lot of that. We work with a lot of different industries. What's been really rewarding for me more recently is we've worked with a lot of education companies. So kind of tying in my background with education and kind of helping them with their content. But honestly, we worked with real estate and contractors and who else? Healthcare and technology and all these different industries, which has been so fun and rewarding. And we've learned all these different things, because as we're creating content, we have to just naturally do a lot of research into the industry and what people are wanting to learn about and what trends are going on and things. So it's been really fun, and just to kind of create content. And here's what we always tell people: it's never boring. It's always evolving, always changing. And honestly, with the evolution of AI and different things, we're able to really be more efficient and streamline a lot of our processes too, because we're not starting from scratch necessarily all the time. We could go to ChatGPT and come up with all this content ideas for our clients, and then we can bring those to life. So that's been really kind of fun. Even from when we started till now, like the evolution of technology has been really, really helpful in this industry.
And if somebody's listening right now and going, ooh, this sounds really cool, and they want to do it themselves, what would be some of your first steps you suggest for somebody that would be interested in doing what you guys are doing?
I think the biggest thing is what's great about freelancing is it's the perfect side hustle. So as much as, when we first started getting into it, we're like, we want to quit our jobs tomorrow. It really is the best thing to kind of build that momentum on the side and see what you like to do. So like for me, I like to write. So that was kind of the most natural part to kind of dip my toes in and kind of start just writing for companies here and there. I wasn't charging a ton. I was just kind of gaining experience, kind of building a portfolio, getting more comfortable and confident talking to businesses. And then gradually, like I said, when Brady was added on, we kind of started creating content together and things like that. So I think the biggest thing is just getting started. I think whoever is listening to this, if they're kind of like, wait, I could make actually good enough money to replace, we've replaced 2 incomes here. And it's even bigger than that. It's more than just the financial freedom that we've been able to kind of get. It's that time freedom. I think what we were finding was, then the reason I kind of wanted to start this business in the first place was we got married and we realized for 40 plus hours of the week, our lives were so separate. Our work lives were so separate. I was teaching, he was doing sales, and they were stressful in their own right. And so we came home from work and we'd be like, we're both stressed from our job, but like we didn't really know how to talk about it. And so we were finding we were kind of getting almost into this rut of maybe we would go on a walk, make dinner together, watch Netflix, go to bed and repeat. This can't be it. We finally find each other and this is what we have. That's kind of what kind of got me excited to try something new. So if someone's listening and they're like, I'm in that rut, I want more time with my spouse or my kids or whatever it is, freelancing is the best thing to do because there's so many services that businesses need help with. I think people don't realize that. They're like, oh, they wouldn't pay me for this or that. But
and I want to cut you off there. Say there's a bunch of tools online.
Yes.
It's not like you have to go spend thousands of dollars for equipment. You don't need a video camera. There's stock footage online.
Yep.
There's so many things. You can have your company take a video on their iPhone. There's so many ways to create content.
There really is.
For social media.
And if you're just like, I don't even know where to start, YouTube has so much out there for free. Google has so much out there for free. We actually, because of how much it's changed our lives, like we are now helping other families, me specifically helping moms, because what I've found is in conversation with moms is that they really want to be home with their kids, but financially can't swing it. So they're like, okay, I'm kind of torn. Do I go back to work and a lot of my, income goes towards daycare, or do I stay home, which is where I want to be with my kids? How can I bring in money in just small pockets of time? Because as we know, as moms, we don't have 9 to 5 to sit at a desk and work, and our kids, can just do their own thing. So I've really kind of taken it upon myself because I saw this kind of gap where I'm like, moms need help with this. We're finding success in it. Like, how can I help moms? So we're creating our own courses to just really help them get, off the ground. And we are almost about to release one all about like social media and how to manage social media for companies and things. And that's something that you can charge 1,000 plus a month for, so getting those retainer clients, like what a great side gig that you have reliable income coming in every single month. So we teach people how to do those things in the pockets of time. And then beyond that, I also teach moms how to come up with activities that keep their kids engaged during the day so that they can get a little bit of work done on the computer or a little bit of work done on their phone or whatever that looks like. So AI is a tool. So many people are so scared of it, but like it's actually a tool that can make you more efficient, and we can't be scared of it. It's kind of where the world's moving. So let's use it, to our benefit for sure too. So there's so much need out there. We just met with a company this week who's like, I'm overwhelmed. Like I need help with things. So we are going to do social media for him. Like the need is out there, and there's so many businesses getting created every single day. So to me, that's a great avenue and a great place to start is social media, blogging, creating content for companies, I think is a really, really good place to start.
I love that. And I fully support parents being able to find a job that is flexible so that they can spend more time with their family. Some people love the 9 to 5 world. They walk away, see their kids at the end of the day and have that intentional one-on-one time, and that fills their buckets. Other people are like, no, I want to be there. I want to be there for the messy lunches. I want to be there for all of the little things. So to be able to create work around that is really neat. So I want to circle back here for a moment because you guys, your situation's kind of unique. You both left the 9 to 5 world and are working in the 4 walls of your home, right? So can you kind of share the good, the bad, and the ugly of literally being 24/7 at home with your spouse, doing the whole work and life, parenting, family dynamic together?
Well, the first thing is
he's gonna jump right into that.
First thing is we both have different styles of working. No people work similar. I work better right when I have my cup of coffee in the morning. I'm ready to hit the ground running. Leslie's a little different.
Well, here's what I like to tell people. We work together, but we don't work side by side all day, which we can't now with a toddler, right?
Definitely
That's not realistic. But even before, we have different times of day we like to work. We have different styles of working, whether it's like big chunks of time or smaller pockets of time. But what we do is we both work towards the same goal. And I think that's what's really brought us back together as far as like a good thing. It can be hard, sometimes to balance that. I think sometimes the lines get blurred with, okay, now it's like the evening and we're kind of not working, but we still want to talk about a client thing, so kind of like setting those better boundaries. I think that's kind of the hardest part, but it's so fun and so rewarding to be able to work towards a common goal, because like I mentioned, our work lives used to be so separate that we couldn't really relate to one another.
Like I didn't know anything about teaching. I'm not gonna give my input on
and I knew nothing about the corporate world, so like we couldn't really even share in that, and that was such a big chunk of our day that we couldn't really like relate to one another in. And now we totally, like, we work with the same clients, we have the same, like I said, goals for them, and we want to see them move forward in different things, and we'll run ideas by each other. And the great thing I think too that's really brought us together is that he does video, I do written content, and we think so highly of one another. We're each other's biggest cheerleader. So I'm not going to like step on his toes when it comes to video. I truly, truly, truly think he's the most talented videographer. So I will shout that from the rooftops, and same hopefully for him with me with writing. And so I think that's really helpful because it's not like we get in each other's way and I'm like, oh, I would edit it this way or that way. He's the best at it, and I encourage and support him in that. And I think that probably helps us to be our best selves when it comes to our work too, because we have our biggest cheerleader right next to us versus someone like, I wouldn't have done it like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I think that's helpful. And like I said, it's actually really strengthened our marriage to have, each other understanding like what I'm doing is important and that they couldn't do it themselves. And we say this all the time to each other. I'm like, I could never do this without you. And he says the same to me because we bring such different things to the table. So I think that's been good.
A few other things. The good, I would say, is unlimited earning potential.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, you get in the corporate sales job, they will cap your commissions. Now, not to speak bad, I know there's some great corporate sales jobs, but you feel limited of what you can earn. when you're on your own, there's unlimited potential
Yeah.
of how much you can earn, but there's also that uncertainty because you're not guaranteed a paycheck.
We always, okay.
Yeah, I was just saying, you don't make money, you don't eat. So,
yeah. Well, we always tell people like there's no ground floor, like we don't have a salary, but there's also no ceiling, you know? So like it's that trade-off. And a lot of people that do go into freelancing, I think you might have mentioned this, like their spouse still keeps their steady job. So they're like, okay, it's kind of like that risk is, but we kind of both went all in at the exact same time. But because we had set that foundation, like financially, we had prepared for it, you know, and all of those things. And of course, like our families were like, you guys are crazy. And now they love it. Now they see it. Like they see the vision and they see us all the time we get with our daughter, like you've got it made. I mean, it's just the best. So definitely a challenge, I would say, is being home full time with a
that is
toddler.
the biggest challenge.
I was gonna say, let's throw the toddler into the mix now. We've got the couple dynamics. Let's throw the toddler into the mix. How do you work from home with the toddler by your side?
Well, we work in shifts.
Yeah, we kind of have to.
I work first, and then I do my whatever as much as I can until lunchtime. Then I take the foot off the pedal, and then we swap.
I typically get up and have the mornings with her and do a lot of like, and this is what kind of can be hard for me. And you may relate to this as a wife, like as a female, I feel like I see, okay, the dishwasher needs to be emptied and the laundry and all these things. So being home, it sometimes can be hard because it pulls my attention to the home to-do list. So we have like the business to-do list, the home to-do list, you know, the mom to-do list. I feel like I'm just constantly juggling all those things. So just kind of getting into a rhythm of I'm going to have her typically in the mornings, we'll do lunch, she's napping, and then we kind of swap in the afternoon. But it can depend. I mean, honestly, it has demanded of us is to be really communicative with each other with expectations every single day, because again, every day could look different. So he may be working on a big video project, which he is right now. I'm going to probably take her for more of the day to allow him time to work, you know, so it's very flexible. The same could be true if I have a big, you know, writing project to do or whatever. He may take her more of the day. Every single day is a little bit different. We kind of have our flow of what works for us, but we definitely as a family go on lots of walks during the day and get a break. Cause like you mentioned, we're in our house a lot. We can get a little stir crazy here, but it's just so neat because he can be in the middle of a project and then she'll run up to him, which can be distracting, but also so sweet. You know, he gets a little break with her during the day. Not everybody has that time, those special moments with their daughter.
And we don't have an abundance of time during the day. So we have to be very organized.
Yeah.
I feel like I now need to be organized with my time. So if we have a meeting, an informal meeting, when I'm drinking my coffee, what we want to do today,
do we need to get done?
What's on the schedule,
what do we want to get done,
and when do we want it done by.
That's been really helpful. Just a ton of communication, because all couples should communicate, but like we have that additional layer of we own a business together and we're parents together, and so it just requires so much ongoing communication, which ultimately has been so good for us.
Thank you for sharing that. That's literally a glimpse into our household over here, how Chris and I juggle everything. With the exception, Chris is the one that notices the kitchen clutter, notices the laundry. He is so attentive to all that details. I will be all in. Like, okay, I'm going to go back after and do the kitchen. I'll get there and I'll be like, it's done. Oh, the laundry's it. Like he's just on it. So
we'll have to have one that does, at least one, you know, that does that.
So, exactly. You need one of those in the house to keep the house looking like semi-sane house while you're trying to get all the work done.
I love that.
So I want to throw you guys a hypothetical question now. So say your daughter is graduated and she's looking to step out into the world now to make money on her own. What advice would you share with her?
Every paycheck, don't spend it all, save it, learn skills. Cause you got to get the pattern of working down first before I would say work for yourself.
I guess maybe we differ in this, but in my mind now, it's so interesting because what we do, we didn't have to get a degree for necessarily. We just kind of had to learn as we go. So I'm really open to her not attending a 4-year college. I think if she wants to, great. And we'll support that. And we are putting money aside for whatever that future looks like for her, because we are able to actually, we may share about this. I don't know if this is helpful to your audience, but what we found out was there's a lot of like tax hacks and stuff that you can do with kids. So she was in some of our professional video shoots this year. So we're able to pay her as an employee. So we're going to be putting that money aside for her. So by the time she's 18, she'll have a really good chunk of money. We'll invest some of that. She'll have some savings. So it's really, you can pay your child up to $13,850 a year.
Yeah. It's like
it's payments each year, but it's like around $12,000 to $13,000 a year.
And they don't have to pay taxes on it up to that point.
So they have to work. So like for her as a 1-year-old, what can she really do? So we talked to our accountant and we're like, well, she was a model in multiple different shoots that are like professional campaigns. And he's like, that counts. So we're like, okay, cool. They can do voiceover work. They can help with social media. So those are just things that, you know, if your audience doesn't know that, or if you don't know that, that's something to look into. To go back to your question, my hope is that she's, you know, from now till then have really raised her to be a good steward over resources and, what that looks like to put money aside, to save it, to give money and all of those different things and all those different principles that we live by. So by the time she's that age, she can make those smart decisions moving forward. I don't know if we're going to tell her she has all this chunk of money from all of her working year. I don't know when we'll tell her that, but yeah, I think I'm open to the fact of her not maybe attending a 4-year university and maybe trying something, we laugh about it.
Unless they get the student loans under control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are kind of out of control because,
right. Well, and there's so many jobs now, careers, whatever, that you don't have to have a 4-year degree for. I look at the people that I went to school with that just went right into the workforce, and I'm like, they're so much better for it because they didn't have to come out with loans. They were able to start generating money right away. And a lot of those trades now, like, gosh, they make great money. And Brady made a good point the other day. He's like, those can't be automated. What did we say? Like plumbers can't be replaced by a AI, so like,
I mean, not yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Hairdressers, different things, we're open to whatever she wants to do. Again, if she wants to go to a 4-year, college and she wants to pursue something that requires a degree, we're going to support that too. But I just think that conversation needs to get rolling just in general in society that like, there's different paths to take. We don't need to encourage 18-year-olds to take on big chunks of loans because they don't all need them. There's so many jobs. And what we're doing now didn't exist when we were little. So we couldn't have sat there and been like, I want to be a blogger. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't a thing. So you never know when by the time she's that age, what even's going to be available to her. So the best thing I think we can do is just model like how to be responsible with money and how to, be generous with money and all of those things too. So yeah.
At Playing with Fire, we're all about what is the lifestyle that you want and then to pick the income streams that fit into that. So you guys, your perspective now of, what job worlds are like, what sounds like student debt is like, what all of the pieces leading into one path are, and now you're out in the entrepreneurial world and you can see the pieces that have built that for you. So you guys have a really good filter to be able to show her, here are a whole bunch of different ways you can do things, which looks appealing to you, and we can help you on your path, right?
Yes, for sure.
Do you guys have any last words of wisdom for people who are listening that are ready to carve their own path to financial independence?
I think it just starts with behavior first. First, getting your finances in order, knowing how much you need to live on, and don't immediately quit your job. Like if you're good at something, like, oh, I'm doing this full time, first test it out, doing it part time, build up that nest egg. Because the first year starting your business or being on your own fully 100% it's not for the faint of heart. You're gonna have some crazy moments where you're like, oh, what am I doing? Am I crazy?
Even if you don't have your spouse or whoever with you, like you need someone that's going to be cheering on, because there's moments we needed to encourage each other.
Having that nest egg is important because you might have to dip into it a couple of times during the first year. So
well, and kind of going off that, like, people will say all the time, like, oh, that must have been so scary to leave your job, so scary to leave your jobs. And here's what we say now is like, it's scary to think, what if we hadn't? Like, that's scarier to me to think, what if we played it safe and we were, and again, I think we could have had great lives and we could have just kept kind of going through the motions, but there was something in us that was like, no, this isn't our forever. Like like you said, carve your own path. I love the way you said that because that's exactly what we're doing. We don't live like every other family, it's unique what we do, but when we share our story, people are like, wait, that's possible? Like the fact that we're going in a couple weeks for 2 weeks to Florida with his family. We're going to go in an RV down to Florida with his family. The fact we don't have to ask off work, like these little things that come up that we're like, wait, we have the total time and financial freedom to do that. And we'll just throw our laptops in and we can work from there if we need to. But that's what we sought after, like obviously we have big financial goals and we want to, be able to bless people and do all these different things. But like the time freedom that we have with our family and hopefully, growing family too, at some point we'll add more kids to the mix.
Right.
It's just such a huge blessing.
I would also say, don't be afraid to work. Don't be afraid to do outreach.
Yeah.
You have to do
Put
it.
yourself out there.
There's no way you'll ever make it if you don't network.
You have to get uncomfortable.
You got to be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Knock on doors, reach out to people on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. It comes across as annoying. Like you think it's annoying, but they get so many messages. You just got to make yourself stand out.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yeah. And it's like we've gotten more comfortable being uncomfortable. And we've changed. Like we're not the same people we were back in our jobs. Like we have changed. Our confidence has grown. It's just been so good for us personally within our marriage and now as parents too.
Yes. The most growth you will experience is when you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely love that. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Like that is a mantra that I have been living for the last 6 months because I'm an introvert. I don't like putting myself out there, but at the same time, I have this call in me. I'm like, life is meant to be lived. I have to help other people realize that they get to choose the direction of their life. So I'm like, just have to keep putting myself out there. This is not very comfortable.
But hosting a podcast, like that's
and you reached out to Leslie.
Yeah. And every time you do that, it gets a little bit easier and a little bit easier.
That's exactly it. That is exactly it. I'm actually an extrovert. He's an introvert, but still, even as an extrovert, like it still can be not totally comfortable. So it's just, put yourself out there. And it seems so crazy. I think the hardest people to tell that we were switching, what we were doing was our families.
Oh yeah.
Because again, they saw us go to a 4-year degree, kind of assumed we'd be doing that our whole lives. And at first they were worried. They're like, you're going to give up a paycheck every 2 weeks. Who does that? Because no one really in their generation did that. And now they tell all their friends about us.
I love that so much,
awesome.
because that is like I said, how beliefs get passed down. I believe that belief got passed down from our parents' generation. You need to get a job with a pension, and therefore you'll be supported in retirement.
Yes.
I know for me, I did that and I was like, ooh, I'm only like a few years in and I am not liking my life. There's got to be a better way. So I gave up the pension, and
I did too.
It's been so much more blissful ever since.
Freeing. It's so freeing. And you're like, I would have worked however more years just for this pension. Like, no, that's not what life is about. Just like living for the pension or no, you can forge your own path and create your own income. And now, more than ever you can, it's like almost 2024. Like we can, there's so many ways to make money.
And
it's
you can
amazing.
find a way to pay yourself pension being self-employed. There's many different.
We mentioned that one little
tools.
tax hack, but my gosh, there's so many things you can do. Like
SEP IRA, so many things.
Yeah. So there's just, there's so much. We're just digging into it. We've been in this for a few years now. So.
And no one tells you any of this stuff in school. You have to learn it by yourself or learn from a family member.
Yeah. Or YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And honestly, from my experience, the best investments you can make are in yourselves and your education, and being able to make choices from an educated perspective and being like, this is where I want to go. Those have always been the best investments that I've made in myself, to be able to make the investments monetarily in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Investing in yourself is priceless, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I think this was a lovely chat that we had here. So can you please share with the listeners where they can find out more about you guys?
For sure. Yeah. So as far as our digital marketing business, you can find us at www.heyhuffers.com or at heyhuffers for our Instagram. I'm a lot more active now on the Joyful Work at Home Mom community page. That's where I'm connecting with a lot of moms who either want to work from home but don't know what to do, or they are working from home and they don't know what to do with their kids during the day. So I kind of offer both solutions. So that is on Instagram at @thejoyful_WAHM for Work at Home Mom. I also have a website I'm building for that, thejoyfulworkathomemom.com. Links to a future YouTube channel that we're going to be putting together, and just a lot of exciting things coming in 2024 that we want to really just kind of give back to people, because we're like, we don't want to gatekeep and not share how amazing this has been for our family. We want to really share what's worked for us, and hopefully, allow other families to, if they want to, kind of dip their toes in and see what that could mean for their family, financial and time freedom wise.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. So cheers to a prosperous 2024, and thanks for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Playing with Fire. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights on your journey to financial independence and early retirement.
If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay connected with us and our amazing guests, be sure to subscribe to the podcast.
And if you've been enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Your reviews help us reach more people and continue to bring you fantastic content.
Have questions, comments, or suggestions for future topics? We'd love to hear from you. You can connect with us on social media on Instagram as _leaf_lifestyle, or visit our website at www.4leaflifestyle.com to stay in the loop.
Remember, your journey to financial independence starts with a single step, and you've just taken one today by listening to Playing with Fire.
So keep playing with fire, keep igniting those financial flames. This is your life, and it's time to create the life of your dreams.
Until next time, stay fired up.
Join my mom and dad in the next episode of Playing with Fire.